Hey guys, King of Triumphs here, to be your judge, your jury, and your analyst, and today I bring to you the most powerful core, the best core, which happens to be Altaria and the Lanturn. Well, it's a brand new core that came out and it flew around like crazy in the beginning, and now it's now you just see a whole bunch of madness in Open Great League because it's Open Great League. But yeah, it's super strong, and despite losing despite losing some really terrible leads here, I'm able to come out with some pretty sweet win conditions. So hopefully y'all enjoyed the battles, and yes, Altaria and Lanturn is it's one of the best, if not the best core as of Open Great League right now, just because of Walrein being nerfed, and yeah, it's well, not even just Walrein being nerfed. The lesser of I-types, Altaria is really powerful, it's super bulky, and then Lanturn is just an incredible charger in the 2 shields, especially if you don't have a grass type in the back, or anything that can take it down. But before we get started, it's going to be my therapist mental health today, and as usual, you can skip this by moving ahead 2 minutes of the video, or just look at the chapters. And this is going to be about FOMO! Yes, fear of missing out, believe it or not, fear of missing out is actually a thing. And fear of missing out may negatively affect physical and mental wellness. What do you think, right? Well, we just had the new elite raids come out or whatever, and yeah, you are probably pissed as rural players. You're probably pissed out that you're missing out on something that you can't access because you don't have a lot of parks in your area or X gyms. Meanwhile, places like Japan literally have X raids on every corner because they have so many sponsor gyms. It's freaking ridiculous. No, seriously, I've been there. I've been to Japan. I've been to Taiwan. I've been in the east side of the world for Pokemon Go a lot, and it's freaking overpowered. And the problem with fear of missing out is the anxiety or apprehension surrounding missing out on things like social events, gathering, or latest awesome moves. If experiencing FOMO make you feel like you are connected to the latest happenings and over society as you would like to be or should be, and FOMO can be when Pokemon Go, you like raids and everything like that. And Pokemon Go's entire marketing base is based off of fear of missing out. That's what Niantic does. The fear of missing out that you're going to miss on this next Pokemon, next big thing. That's why they do all these events to lock you into spending money or spending a ridiculous amount of time. Which also kills your experience, but also kills the opportunity for people to go to regionals, which is why Salt Lake City only had 40 people, because guess what? Not a lot of people care about Pokemon Go PvP. Who knew, right? And the problem with the FOMO with that too is people that are really good players miss out on these things that probably makes them feel sort of way because either one, they have full-time jobs because they can't make it, or two, it's just it's not worth going to because it's not that competitive. A 40-man regional tournament is not that competitive. It really isn't in comparison to all the other games. So read on this article if you want to take a look at FOMO because it's really good. And without further ado, this is the best core, Altaria, Lanturn, and let's get started. Alright, here are the battles. We got Altaria onto Machamp. This is obviously great for us. This poor Machamp is about to get eviscerated by these Dragon Breaths, or they're going to swap out in like 15 seconds. That wasn't 15 seconds, but hey, you know what? It worked out anyways. So we got Nidoqueen onto Lanturn. This is a pretty great matchup. Is that a shiny Shadow? I have seen so many shiny Shadow Nidoqueens. Like, yo, what the heck is up with this shiny flex, yo? Okay, I see how it is. So the trick to this is that you just can't get eaten by Earth Power. But the thing is, because you get to, like, Surf and Poison Fang are kind of like, both take 5 to get to. And the fact that Surf does super effective damage, as long as you don't get hit by an Earth Power, you should be okay. Keyword is, should be okay. Because as you see here, I call the second Poison Fang. The first one I've been better, but then it's okay because this Nidoqueen's in the zeros. If they happen to end up with 1 HP, this is gonna kinda suck, just because we don't want Ready Steel to line up against that Machamp. However, they are in the zeros, so either way, it might work out. We're about to find out. Surf goes through. I'm gonna send in my Altaria to get a little bit of extra energy, and we see a Talonflame. Okay, so this actually wasn't that bad. Well, it is actually kind of bad. I'm expecting my opponent to Brave Bird, that's why I'm not firing anything. I want to hit this Sky Attack onto that Machamp in the back. So as you see here, I'm just going to get a little more energy, or they're just going to let me double up on Sky Attack. So I'm going to double up on Sky Attack. Machamp, because it's swapped out right away, has no energy, and Hurricane 69420 comes through and destroys it, and freaking Registeel doesn't even have to see the freaking face of the battle. Sky Attack goes through, KOs the freaking Machamp, and that's GG's. Dang, dude, I didn't, like, dang. Ouch. I mean, Shadow Machamp used to be really good back in the day, but because of the rise of Shadow Nidoqueen and just other subsequent ghost types like Jellicent, it kind of fell off the planet. Even though it's still really good. As you see, we swap, we get a terrible lead, so I'm forced to swap into Registeel. Registeel is usually your safe switch in this scenario, or I just like sacrificing Registeel because 2 shields with Altaria or with Lanturn is great. We managed to land the Focus Blast, which is good, but here's the problem. I'm not going to be able to get to a second move anyway. So as you see here, I'm going to let go of Registeel completely and send in Altaria. We can live Hydro Cannons here. That's perfectly fine. I'm hoping... Okay, so this is what I'm hoping. That this is like a Walrein Scarm Core type of deal. I mean, this is a Scarm Swampert Core kind of deal, and that maybe, just maybe, I can come out with some kind of win condition. Because Stunfisk has to Earthquake you in order to come out with some damage. As you see, I'm going to eat the first Rock Slide. I'm going to send in Lanturn. I'm going to fire these Surfs. And like I mentioned, unless I eat an Earthquake, I'm not really in any danger here. Plus, thanks to the new buff, Surf actually gets her pretty quickly. So, Water Gun does better in some scenarios, but I like Spark just because of the charge. You're using Lanturn as a charger. It doesn't have a high attack, so the fast move pressure isn't going to work out too well for you anyways. That's just my justification for using Spark. We're just going to try to surf down this G-Fisk, and we're probably going to end up in the zeros. Or they're going to try to Rock Slide me again, and then that's going to suck. But as long as I expend both of my shields here, I should be fine. There's no way they can get to an Earthquake. So, as you see, my opponent doesn't actually use their shield, which has me kind of scratching my head because now I could possibly farm you down. I call the Earthquake, and then they're not swapping out. I sent in Altaria to try and... I tried Dragon Breath now. I was this close, okay? I mean, I came pretty dang close. But as you see, we have a Knocked Owl. So it's actually great for us because I can get the 2 Sky Attacks here, and Lanturn will just go to town. This was G-Fist Double Flyer? No, G-Fist Swampert Knocked Owl. Interesting. But anyways, it's just pretty much game because no matter what happens here, Knocked Owl won't be able to KO Lanturn with a Shadow Ball, and G-Fisk is already so hurt that it's probably going to just take 1 Spark for me to end this match. Or even better yet, what I can do here to just solidify my win condition is just double up on Surf and then double Surf for the W. As you see here, I should be able to get to 2 Surfs comfortably because Knocked Owl takes a while to charge with Wing Attack, get to double Surf, and just use this safe win condition. I know G-Fisk has 0 energy, but heck, mine as well just practice, because doubling up right here will actually just net me the win condition. As you see, my opponent sacks, but it doesn't really matter anyways, because I already have 2 Surfs. So, by doubling up on Surf, it guaranteed my win condition regardless. So, you didn't have to do that, but as you see, because my opponent tried to sack on a Surf, like, double Surfs just came out, it happened anyways. But yeah, that's a game. So even though we had a really terrible freaking lead, we still came out with the W because Lanturn in the backward shield is an absolute destroyer. So that actually worked out very well for us in the end. But that doesn't work all the time. So yes, if you lose the lead, you're probably... Registeel is normally going to be your safe switch for most of the time. But in some instances, you might want to sack Lanturn. But most of the time, like I said, I like Lanturn with 2 shields in the back. Especially with the fact that grass types kind of... not completely disappear from the meta, but it's unlikely you will see a grass type in the back. So, as you see here, we got Runerigus into Altaria. Runerigus got a buff, so Sand Tomb, Shadow Claw made it an absolute destroyer of worlds, and it actually completely walls Registeel, so we don't want this. We don't want Registeel against Runerigus. They give up switch into a Lickitung, and I'm actually loving this so much. Because remember I told you Runerigus walls Registeel? Well, guess what? There's no reason for us to keep Registeel because we know Runerigus is coming, so... I called it, well, it doesn't matter what I call here because of the fact that we resist both Body Slam and we also resist Power Whip. Those licks do chunk though. I'm hoping to get the defense debuff and I do not, which is actually terrible for us right here. So my opponent might actually win back switch just because of the fact these licks plus Body Slams are just going to do a ton of chip damage overall. And it takes Registeel a while. If I had that debuff, this would have been a lot better, but Zap Cannon no longer gives a 100% debuff, unfortunately. We're going to hit the Focus Blast over here, and then Focus Blast is hopefully good. They're probably going to shield, though, to be honest with you. And they don't shield, and I'm like, why, though? So, because they did that, this is great. And we get an Oranguru, and my brain is like, what the heck is going on? Oranguru is really interesting because of the fact that, here's the thing, Foul Play doesn't get stabbed with Foul Play, and I don't really know. Well, it does great against the poison types and the fighters, but the problem with a Ranguru is that, yeah, I just really don't know what's like out. Like even I really don't know, honestly. As you see here, Altaria is so thick that it's just going to be able to Dragon Breath down this entire Ranguru, and then Runerigus is going to farm us down. However, we still have Lanturn. So 2 Surfs should take out, well, 2 Surfs, one should break a shield. The second one should definitely do some damage. I'm not going to shield the fourth one, even if it's a Shadow Ball, it doesn't really matter here. Because Lanturn will comfortably live. Not comfortably, it's still in the yellow, but hey, you know, we still got something. So we're going to fire the Surf and my opponent shields, but that's perfectly fine because we'll be able to get to this second Surf. The beauty of Runerigus is it's not actually super bulky. I try to sack Registeel here, and as you see here, I'm actually able to farm down this Lickitung. So Runerigus gets a little bit of energy. However, like I mentioned, Runerigus is actually pretty squishy. So this Surf might actually either KO it or get dang near close to. And as you see, one spark away, dang near close to KOing. And that's game. That was actually a lot closer than that. I was like, holy crap, oh my god, what Mother of Mercy. And speaking of Mother of Mercy, that's an Azumarill. Azumarill is terrible it's actually pretty bad for my life. We got Sableye on a Registeel, and I'm praying I get the debuff. Because with the debuff, I have some more play here because I can relive more Shadow Claws. And as you see, we get the debuff, and they let the Zap Cannon through, so I'm like, let's go! Now this will allow me to live 1 or 2 more foul plays like you see here, and I can go straight Focus Blast. If we can line up that Azu against my Lanturn, this would be absolutely fantastic. Shadow Claw, but these foul plays are actually chunking, so I'm hoping that my opponent actually gives up their Sableye. But I highly doubt they're going to give it up. They're likely going to shield, and yes, they do shield. So this is kind of terrible because of the fact that we got a whole Sableye to deal with, but I'm going to match them shield for shield here. I want to either break both of their shields and leave them to the zeros, or I can send in Altaria and just farm down this Sableye, which is probably a move I should have done, to be honest with you. I'm going to fire this Focus Blast, and I'm probably going to lose Switch here because Shadow Claws will chunk, and unfortunately we do lose, but that's perfectly fine. I send in Altaria. I'm hoping that Lanturn with a shield is enough to take out Azu and whatever's in the back. As you see here, I'll send in Lanturn right away because Lanturn is going to have to take out whatever's in the back anyways with the shield, and at least I come in with 1 spark of extra energy. And as you see here, this is actually working out pretty dang good for us, even though Altaria doesn't... Altaria takes neutral damage from electric type attacks, and this might be a Sky Attack, which is why I don't shield. If it's a Sky Attack, this is great. And it's a Sky Attack, let's go! The calls, baby! The calls, because this second Thunderbolt will either kill or get dang near close to killing, and then Azu has to contend with it. Azu will lose against Lanturn in the 1 shield, as long as I have the 1 to 0, so I'm perfectly fine here. Thunderbolt goes off, and then all I have to do is farm down this Altaria, and my opponent should probably top left because it's already game over. Bubbles are resisted, but my Thunderbolt is not, and still having a shield, and because Lanturn charges so quickly with Spark, I should be able to close out this matchup regardless. Thunderbolt goes through, and my opponent is going to try to Ice Beam me down. But either way, this is perfectly fine, because like I mentioned, I should be able to get to my second move, or better yet, I can even sack my Altaria if I want to, and my opponent just top lefts because of this, so they already know it's likely game over. Next, we got Altaria and Nidoqueen. This is actually a terrible lead for you because in the 2-shield, Nidoqueen will comfortably just blast its way through Altaria like Swiss cheese. Just because Poison Fangs plus Poison Jab damage adds up. And this really sucks for you as the Altaria player. I will eat the first one and I'm going to fire Sky Attack here. However, I'm going to have to give up Swap or just give up Altaria outright. Seeing as I don't have a strong match against either one of these, I'm going to go ahead and just leave in Altaria. I'm going to eat this second one, and then I'm probably going to swap out here. Poison Fang won't outright kill, and I'm going to send in Lanturn. My opponent is going to likely debuff me, so that's why I'm not going to shield here. I can totally bet that this is going to be a Poison Fang. Better yet to break shields and go down to 2-1s, and my opponent is actually going to, my opponent's not going to switch out, which makes me kind of scratch my head because losing Nidoqueen is great because now I have an even bigger problem to deal with, a Machamp. I'm going to go straight Thunderbolt here. And this is actually really terrible right now. We're in a lot of trouble. Thunderbolt goes through, and this is going to be a super rough matchup because Registeel in the zeros has a terrible... Registeel in all shield scenarios has a really bad matchup against Machamp, especially if Machamp has Power Up Punch. But my opponent actually took enough damage where I'm like, Let me see. I'm not going to shield anything here. Nothing. Ice Punch and Psychic will be resisted. And then these counters aren't actually doing any... I mean, they're doing damage, but... my Registeel is still super healthy. Psychic goes through, and then I'm going to attempt to try to farm this thing down, actually. And as you see, I sent in Altaria just to do a little bit of extra damage because I don't want to end up dying. And now we got Azu against Registeel. So here's my actual win condition. I actually have to get a debuff. Because the thing about it is, even though I have Zap Cannon, it charges so slowly that if I don't get the debuff, Bubbles will kill me. But as you see, with Lady Luck in my hands and 30%, I managed to get the debuff. And now this should solidify the win condition for me. I mean, even if I did get the debuff, I might have still been able to come out with a win con. But still, it would have been really rough. Because, it's an Azu. You get it, play rough, yeah. But this is game over because all I have to do is get to the second Zap Cannon and then this should be game. Even if I didn't get the debuff, I might have been able to clutch out this matchup, but you never know, right? Having 2 shield advantage against Azu is great because I should be able to get this Zap Cannon, Hadouken, Final Flash. I hope y'all watched the Dragon Ball Super movie because that movie was amazing, and I hope y'all enjoyed the battles. And that's GG's. Altaria, freaking Lanturn core is still the best core in Open Great League. As of right now. Until that changes. And that's game. I hope y'all enjoyed the battles. So, yeah, Altaria Lanturn is pretty nuts. I didn't expect the Lanturn 2-shield strat to really work that well, especially with Registeel. But this is factually the most powerful Altaria Lanturn team in PvPoke.com. Actually, I think it was actually a top 3 team too. Hold on, I'm taking... yeah, I think it's like top 3 too. Yeah, actually, it's a top 3 team. It is actually the number 3 team. Outside of 2 Stunfisk lead teams, this is the Altaria Lanturn core actually is the number 3 team, sporting a 0.9% usage, a higher usage than the top 10. So that shows you just how good this core is. And yeah, it's an incredibly good team, but... yes, I hope y'all are enjoying the battles, and yeah, so do me a huge favor, please like, subscribe, and comment for YouTube algorithm, because I'm going to just strictly do YouTube for a while. I've kind of determined that doing Twitch is really stressful, not really worth it either, to be honest with you, especially with lag and everything like that. So I'm very much just going to focus on YouTube up until Scarlet and Violet comes out. When Scarlet and Violet comes out, then I'll do YouTube content. I mean, then I'll stream on Twitch again. But as far as of right now, I'm just not liking the state of Pokemon Go PvP at all. Especially because live on stream, I lose 4 1s, 3 2s, and 5 0s. Which is just nuts to me why it still works this way. And I'm just really trying to... I know I am I know if I dipped away from Pogo and went into another game, I could have been a lot more heavily successful as a content creator because I have that potential. As sad as it tells me to say this. I'm not going to outright quit Pokemon Go PvP. I will still make content and do stuff like that because I have a community that loves that. But hopefully I'll enjoy Scarlet and Violet too because I'm going to start getting into that as well. And maybe start getting into VGC or something like that because I have no drive whatsoever to compete in a Pogo regional. After looking at regionals this weekend and just seeing how big the barrier to entry is and just how small the pool was and just how, if they had to put it, Pokemon Play would probably chop off Pogo on the chopping block because of the amount of numbers it brings in comparison to the other games, or just, it's just not worth it. I don't feel good flying 4 days to get rock, paper, scissored in a regional. No, seriously, rock, paper, scissors. I've seen RPS literally won Worlds, and I'm like, really? Like I can't find... If this was a fight, I'd be a lot more, because in a fight, I could dominate. There's a bazillion different ways I can win in a fight. In Jiu-Jitsu, or even in MMA. In Pokemon Go, I can get RPS'd. I can't end the match in 5 seconds by punching someone in the face, but I can lose to this. But it's what it is. As a competitor, it's just not that competitive, and I just can't do it. But that's my rant for now. I hope y'all stick around. If not, you guys can unsubscribe and follow a whole bunch of other content creators out there that are cool. I'm just happy with what I've done for Pogo PvP. Overall, since I started on Twitch, I still remember when this used to be 50 viewers on average, and now it's like at 2,000. So I was here when PvP wasn't even around and wasn't even popular. But with that being said, good luck on your good battle, and I will see y'all on the next video.
things that I need, all the things that I have craved. These are what I could have achieved. There's one more